Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Create PT Wealth Cashflow webinar. We've got a few people joining us already, so it's great to see people rocking up. Just got to, can I just get confirmation from those of you who are already here that you can actually see my screen? So if someone could respond to that, that'd be great. Okay, I'm getting a few yeses. Yep, we can see, and this would be an obvious question. I take it you can hear me. Yep, that will be the case. Boom, boom. All right, so I'm going to launch into it. So just to let you all know, we've had quite a huge number of people registered today. If you've ever been on a webinar before, what can happen is lots of people can mean background noise. So I'm going to keep everyone muted at this stage. And then a little bit later on in the presentation, what I'll do is I'll have an opportunity to unmute for people to ask questions and so forth. Just to let you know that I do have the question pane open. However, when I'm in full flight of the presentation, ripping into it, sometimes questions, it can be a little bit challenging to be presenting and answering questions. So what I'll do is I'll find a few moments throughout the presentation where I can stop and answer some questions. So definitely if something pops up for you, you've got a question, you hear me say something and you're going, hold on, either that doesn't make sense or I'd like to explore that more, don't hesitate just to type that into that question box, and then we can, and then I'll be able to get to that and answer that, and I'll do my best to answer as many questions as possible. Okay, gang, so I'm going to launch straight into it. So welcome to the Create PT Wealth Cashflow webinar. And today what I want to do is unpack for you 3 things which can get an immediate and ongoing cash flow into your business every single week. And I say here in the vicinity of $300 to $500 or greater than $500. Why do I say that? Why did I pick that figure? Well, quite simply, we've just seen this happen enough. We see the evidence of it, people that implement these systems who can easily achieve those figures. So it can be quite a common thing to see that increase in somewhere around about that $300 to $500 per week, and of course greater, because I don't want to put any limitations on anyone who's watching this at the moment. All right, so let's get straight into it. First of all, I've had the privilege to meet a number of you already, but I will definitely be introducing myself. Before we get into that, however, it's probably safe to say that I can't give you everything today. You know, we're going to be together for somewhere around about 45 minutes to, you know, anywhere from 30 to 45. We'll just see how we go in terms of time. But what I'll be doing is I'll be making some suggestions. I'll be making some recommendations along the way, and I might tell you to go and get a resource, read a book, download an audio, do something like that, and it really would be against my values to not let you know of that stuff. I'll also let you know of our ongoing education programs and how you can definitely take the next step with us. But let's get into the first part. Who am I, and why the hell would you listen to me? I've spent 19 years in the fitness industry, so a very long time. Over that time, built a very successful, Brisbane's most successful personal training business, having up to, at the time, 13 trainers and 200 plus hours of personal training every single week. And so for me, that was definitely something that I loved and enjoyed, being able to build that business. Along the way, I was fortunate enough to meet my now wife. That's her on the left-hand side of your screen. HP is her nickname, I call her, the Hungarian Princess. We met in the gym. Our first date was a workout together. HP jumped up on the wide grip chin-up bar and did 10 unassisted reps. And I was like, that's my girl. It was pretty much love at first chin-up. And we have 2 beautiful children, Sofia and Dexter, that you see on the screen. Yep, that's definitely my son with a 4X beer can in his hand. So, you know, as you can see, we get him started early up here. Why do I tell you this? Well, I tell you at the age of 39, I get to live my dream. And what does my dream mean? Well, my dream means that I've now had the privilege of running 2 successful businesses. And those successful businesses have now enabled me to lead the lifestyle of my dreams. So, you know, at 39, I get to do the things that I love to do. I get to live in the type of house I want to live in, drive the type of cars I want to drive, take holidays, get paid while I'm doing it, and all that stuff, which you know, is that, you know, back to that reason why you're in business and why you're doing it. But, you know, most importantly for me, it's hanging out with those 3 people that are most important to my life. So if, you know, you're ever looking for a reason, a desire, or a burning passion as to going, why am I building this business? Why am I sitting on this webinar today and learning this new info? Or why am I, you know, thinking about my business differently? Well, you know, for me, I've only got to look at that screen. I go, look, they're the 3 people in my life that are most important to me. And, you know, I've already had the privilege today of being able to hang out with my family. I've dropped my kids to kindy and school respectively. I get to go and pick them up from kindy and school. You know, so all that stuff for me is incredibly important. So my big tip to you is keep thinking about the whole time, what's your driving force? What is it that's going to make you get out there and make this stuff happen? Along the way, building great teams of people. So first of all, in the personal training business side of things, it was definitely surrounding myself with great trainers, building them up with our system and our methods and so forth. And now at Create PT Wealth, a huge team of people who you know, totally committed to helping you achieve success in your personal training business. You probably heard along the way somewhere that my charge-out rate grew quite significantly. I became Australia's highest paid personal trainer at $440 per session. That's for a 45-minute session, by the way. It wasn't always that way. As you'll see by the graph, for the first 5 or 6 years, I really had no clue that I was in business. I had no idea how to charge for what I did. I had no idea how to value myself. And really, I would say that I had really no clue on what I was doing. I was just rocking up, training people. I loved what I did. I enjoyed that side of it. However, I just couldn't get my head around how was I going to turn this into a successful business. Then you'll see a few years where it starts to climb and the graph starts to move north. Then you'll see a significant time at around about 2002 where it jumps from up to $110 per session, and then it goes from 110 up to 220, quite a significant jump. And then you'll see in 2006, which is coming up now to 8 years ago, it jumps again from 220 up to $440 per session. Along the way, realised that you know, my time is going to be best spent working in the business. So the number of hours that I worked, or this is contact hours on the left-hand side of your screen, is I'd engineered that to significantly decrease. So, you know, there was a time when I was doing up to 40 one-hour PT sessions per week, and at that point in time, I was incredibly exhausted, burnt out, and all the rest of it. Realised that I had to make some changes and for me to then do less. There's no way I could physically do 200 hours of personal training every week, which is what our team was doing, but there was a way that I could leverage myself through others. And so really the big tip I give is the key to wealth is really to find ways that you can leverage yourself through other people. And what I quite like about this slide is that the inverse relationship that occurs, because as my hours decrease, what you'll see is a significant increase in my ability to charge out my income and my rate and so forth. So, you know, it's not back to that thing and go and just do more. You know, for many people, the way to earn more money is just to do more hours. It's back to that thing of how do I work more creatively, more smarter, etc. So we're here today from Create PT Wealth. No doubt you've entered this webinar today because you've had some type of connection or some type of relationship with us. We do lots and lots of things at Create PT Wealth. The top of your screen, we run 2 main mentoring and coaching programs, one called the Business Accelerator monthly coaching program and the other one called the internship program. If you're sitting on this webinar and you're thinking, I need a coach, I need a mentor, I need someone to help me, all you got to do is stick your details into that question box and just say, give me a call, and we'd be more than happy to speak to you about how we can assist you with that. Alternatively, some of the other things down the bottom of the screen, you might have already got your hands on our #1 best-selling book, A Personal Trainer's Guide to Wealth Creation. If you haven't, I definitely encourage you to do that. And then we run our main event, our 2-day business building boot camp, which we run 12 to 14 of those around the country per year. And along with that event, we pass on huge numbers of bonuses, including our Guide to Wealth Creation Success Pack that you see on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, including our audios and our DVDs and so forth. So lots and lots of stuff to help you get the most success out of not only your business but also your personal life as well. Look, what makes us the authority? Well, you know, for Create PT Wealth, for 6 years now, we've become the largest and the most successful business coaching organisation for personal trainers. Where our model is quite simple. It's all about the business systems, so taking the systems and putting them into your business. Secondly, it's the personal development, so it's you creating that never-ending success. And of course, down the bottom, the same reason your clients come to you, it's having a coach, having a mentor, someone that can hold your hand every single step of the way and is dead set, passionate about seeing you get the most success. Who's on our programs at the moment? Well, we service a wide variety of different allied health businesses, you might say. So really, at the end of the day, the business is not so important, the vehicle that you use, because we have contract-based trainers who run a franchise model, personal training studio owners, we have CrossFit box owners, we've got allied health, Pilates, yoga, massage, functional fitness box owners, startup businesses, outdoor boot camps, you name it. We have them all, we've coached them all, we've seen them all. And so we know all the models, and we definitely know how to make those models profitable, which is the most important thing. We also become the preferred supplier to many of these logos and organizations that you see on your screen now. And of course, we're backed up by a great team of experts, people that are dead set passionate about seeing the people who come through our program succeed and get the most out of their life. All right, let's get straight into it. So I like to call this session how to multiply your income without multiplying your workload, because again, it pretty much flips that model on its head for many people. Multiplying your income means that you have to multiply the number of hours that you work, and we're certainly not a big fan of that strategy. So I want to show you ways that you can work around it. I want to show you about this concept. We talk about making money on the front end and also the back end. So the front end is all about what can we do up front with people? What can we get people to invest in possibly the short term, or some sort of lower entry cost investment, or something that they would see value in, which would get them quote unquote hooked for what it is that you do. And then from there, the back end is you being able to progress them into something that is maybe one of your larger programs, or maybe something that's more formal, or something more ongoing. So I want to show you 3 different models, like I said today, 3 different methods how you can get this immediate increase in cash flow. First method is $800 for 5 sessions, and how you can sort of set up a system where you can have that happening into your business. Method number 2 is to get another $250 per week extra ongoing, and that could definitely be a conservative figure there. And method number 3 is to show you a strategy on how you can earn well over $3,500 each week for working only 18 hours by putting together a particular program. So the first one is pretty much about designing programs. Interestingly enough, I found in the fitness industry previously, and if I rewind the clock many years back to when I first kicked off and I'd launched as a personal trainer, and I'm out there and I'm trying to sell my single session rate, and at that stage it might have been $40 or $50 or something like that, and I'm you're trying to convince someone to do personal training, and then they turn around and say, look, I'm not sure about this personal training thing, maybe I'll just get some exercises off you, get a bit of a program, and then I can go and do it myself and check in with you sort of frequently. So that stuff that you have there, that program stuff, is what we call your intellectual property. And what I found myself doing back in the day was, it's almost like I got a bit frustrated with that type of client. It was like I wanted an ongoing client, someone who's at least going to train with me once a week. But instead, I got someone who just wanted to get a bit of show me around the gym, show me a few exercises, and I'd sort of hurriedly, pick up one of those old cardboard program cards, and sort of, or I'd pick up a notepad, and I'd hurriedly sort of rush around and try to educate them as much as I could. And when you've got someone for the first time, or they're not that well skilled in the exercises, and you spend a lot of time and effort and energy trying to teach them, and it could take 15, 20 minutes to just get someone to squat correctly, by the time you go through the movement pattern and do some releasing and all that sort of stuff. And then I'm sort of rushing around trying to get this whole program sorted for this person. I quite often take the notes home and spend then another hour or so typing it up and making it look graphically presentable to somebody. And the frustrating bit was that I was only getting paid for my 1 hour session, so now 1 hour of payments turned into about 2 to 3 hours of work. So I went, hold on, there's got to be a way around this. And so all this information that you've created, and no doubt you've got it sitting there on your hard drive or on your computer somewhere, it's your intellectual property. everything that you do in your business, every system that you do, everything that you create is part of your intellectual property. And intellectual property has a massive value in your business. And so that's quite often the way that businesses get valued, you know, in terms of intellectual property. Our intellectual property at Create PT World sits in its own company altogether. So it's powerful stuff. So, you know, we've got huge amounts of systems and processes and spreadsheets and documents and videos and you name it, we've pretty much got a system for it. And no doubt you've started to create your library of stuff too. So every time you've written a program for somebody, every time you've probably responded to an email and given some type of training advice, every time you've put together a series of sort of mobility drills or some stretches that you want to educate people on, or even nutritional stuff. I know we're not dietitians, quote unquote. However, no doubt many of you have nutritional suggestions for people. Everything that you do is classified as your intellectual property, and like I said, that intellectual property will have a value attached to it. It's stuff that you have no doubt already created, and you can sell this stuff for a profit. And there's several different ways you can do that. On your, you know, on the highest level, this intellectual property could be put together as some type of online training program. So if you're ever considering a way that you could slowly remove yourself from one-on-one training, or possibly keep doing your one-on-one training and add another string to your bow, add another income bucket, there's a way you can put together some type of membership site-based program where you can pass on this information to people. And you can definitely sell this stuff for a profit. I want to give you an example of how we put together that program package, and it was pretty much in response to that scenario I spoke to you about just a little bit earlier, about the fact that I'm rushing around, I'm trying to, you know, put together this program for somebody, and you know, when I look back on it, it wasn't my best work, because I was feeling under pressure, I was feeling rushed, etc., etc., and I began to, you know, I began to resent the people that took on those sort of sessions. So what I did was I went, well, instead of trying to butt my head against it, why don't I, look, people are asking for it, there's a demand for it. Why don't I flip this model on its head and start to deliver it to people, but however, get paid for it, get compensated for it. So our program package rates, and here's a very basic example of one of them that we put together, and we did many different versions of this. We had a 5-session program package and a 3-session program package. Why did we have 2 different ones? Well, quite simply, we realized that for some clients, they would probably need a little bit more time with us. Maybe their program was a little bit more complex, i.e., quite possibly they, you know, they were doing a double split type program where they were you know, had 2 workouts to their program, or possibly just their level of skill wasn't that great, so they just needed a bit more time with us to get themselves up to speed. The 3-session pack on the flip side, well, that's probably more for the person who didn't require as much time with us. And so we'd make that assessment based on our introductory sales meeting and so forth. We'd make that assessment. So for each of the sessions, they'd kick off with the first bit, the introductory goal setting session. We'd get into the wellness assessment. They would have already completed their pre-exercise questionnaire, filled out all their disclaimers, all that sort of stuff. We'd get a full breakdown of what's going on. We'd do their measurements, their skin folds. We use a bioimpedance for assessing their body fat. We had a few different tools and techniques that we would pull out, and at that point in time, we'd speak to them about them moving forward. We'd give them some basic nutritional advice, and we'd also refer on any nutritional stuff that was out of our understanding. And really, our goal in that first session was to start to get people excited about this concept about going, you know, this is not a short-term journey. This is a long-term thing. And the fact that we're doing this, the measurements and the assessments, as you all well probably know, on day 1, the measurement probably doesn't mean too much at all. It's not until we get 4 weeks down the track or 6 weeks down the track when you do that assessment again, then you can really start to see the change and you can start to measure what they've been doing with you. I shouldn't say the first session doesn't mean much, but it probably doesn't give you much feedback in terms of, you know, how the program's going, or it doesn't give you any feedback to that. So what we'd then do is session number 2, we'd get them in the gym and we'd walk them around and we'd see their body move and we'd get them to squat, bend, pull, move, reach, you know, we'd we play around with a few different exercises, and I wouldn't specifically classify that session as a workout, but most people were working in it. They were getting a bit huffy puffy and a bit sweaty, and really what it enabled myself and the team and the trainers to do was just to get a full understanding of where this person's at. So we're going, okay, where do they sit? What type of exercise is going to be ideal? We'll have a look at their posture, etc. Whilst we're doing that, we're starting to jot down, and we'd either take around the laptop. This is in the pre-iPad era, by the way. You'd probably do it on an iPad these days. We'd walk around with our laptop and we'd pull it up on the bench and we'd start typing little bits and pieces. And so really what we're doing is we're starting to actually construct this program. Then what we'd do is on this third session we would have them back in, and we'd run them through the actual workout. So here it is. Here's the program we've put together. And at that point in time, what we'd be doing is on-selling the concept that you want to get back into this. So this whole 5-session pack enables people to, they've invested. It's a money up front. So we call it the front end. It's money that you might have been missing out on otherwise. It's money that, or potentially, it's a service that you might have been giving away for next to nothing or for free. And so what we used to do at that point in time is start to speak about them. We'd rebook them for their next assessment. We'd rebook them for their next program. And so this program has a limited lifespan on it. For the person in the 3-session package program, if they were doing that program 2 to 3 times a week, we'd say to them, look, after 4 weeks, you're going to have quite an adaptive stimulus to this workout. So what we're going to need to do is get you back in. We're going to need to set some new exercises, some new goals, assess your body, etc., etc. And there's our goal to on-sell. So the rates that we had those for, as you can see, for the 5-pack, it's $7.99, and the 3-pack was $5.49. And, if you look at those figures and you go, holy dooly, how am I going to be able to get that message across or sell that? My advice to you is just move away from the very bottom row there and just don't get your head caught up in going, hold on, that's now $159 per session. How on earth is someone going to pay that? Or that's $183 per session. What we want to move towards is this concept of programs and programming versus sessions. Because what people are investing into, they're not just investing into a session with you. They're investing into all of your expertise. They're investing into all of your experience. They're investing into your intellectual property, the stuff that you'll be putting together for them. So all that stuff has a massive value attached to it. No doubt each and every one of you have done further study, have done further research, have explored things, etc., etc. So you've found out ways that you could improve yourself. And unfortunately, what we see in the fitness industry way too often is that people can have the tendency to undervalue themselves. And that's a bit of a concern from my perspective, because one of my missions and one of my crusades is to massively raise the standard of professionalism in the fitness industry. I want to really see personal trainers and personal training businesses thrive. And so the more that you can embrace these concepts and be able to improve the service that you offer and get paid really what you're worth, better it's going to be for everybody. Absolutely everyone benefits from that type of scenario. In the program package, here's a bit of an example of how it can look, how we put that together in terms of people's exercises, their sets, their reps, their tempo, the weight, little comments that we'd have. And like I said, we'd have all this templated up and set ready to go. We'd carry have the laptop around with us, and no doubt you've got some pretty cool and funky ways that you can put this type of thing together these days. And really what you're doing is, instead of going home, having to sit down in front of the computer for another hour and rack your brain and go, okay, would that be a good exercise or not? I would advise you to maximize your time and go, okay, we can do this while we're on the fly. And the more you do it, the better you'll get at it, and the quicker you'll be able to get around the gym and be able to help people out in this area. What do they get in the end? Well, they get a whole bunch of stuff with us. We aligned ourselves with a nutritionist who could give us the nutritional side of things. We had body composition analysis happening. We had the body assessments, measurements, skin folds, you name it. We pretty much had everything. So what would happen is people would receive this compendium of stuff from us, and they would really see value in it. because, you know, we're back to that thing and going, you're not selling sessions, you're selling an end goal, or you're selling an experience. And so when all this stuff would arrive in people's inbox, they would be blown away. That'd be the comments that we get, wow, this is awesome, this stuff, you know, it tells me a lot about what I'm doing. You could choose to print this stuff up graphically and have it all laid out with some extra information in there. So, you know, when someone's going through it, they just, you know, they're basically seeing what they've invested in. They're blown away by it. All right. So, you know, what do you do when this is the case? You know, you make this money on the front end. Once you've sold them in to the program design package on the front end, well, what at that point in time, what you do is you make them a compelling offer to continue. So being able to sell a pack like that up front, what happens is people get in, they see the value in it, they see the value of working with you, but then what happens is their logical brain starts to kick in and go, hold on, if I keep booking in for these program packs, I might as well just start doing personal training with this individual, because, you know, it's probably going to work out to be around about the same, you know, depending upon the frequency of how often they're booking in with you. If someone books in at $800 once every month, break that down, that's $200 a week. They might as well just be doing 2 or 3 personal training sessions with you each week for that. So, you know, it gives you a really good position to be able to pitch that to them, for them to see, hey, yeah, that makes sense. And you go, well, look, you're investing this much. You invested $800 this month. In another month, I'm going to ask you to come back and, you know, we're going to be investing the same again. Look, why don't we just get you into my regular personal training sessions at $89 per session? You come and see me twice a week. That gets us down to around about $180 per week. You'll actually be saving money. And what I will do is I'll give you all this stuff for free. No doubt that's what you do. The regular ongoing clients is they get all your programs, they get your assessments and all that. Alternatively, if this person's just going, nah, look, I'm not a candidate for regular ongoing training, well, you get them booked in on a regular program cycle. So you work out what seems feasible and realistic, and I had people on all sorts of different arrangements. Probably the more frequently I'd have people on 1 month to 6 week programs. And I probably didn't like it going any greater than about 8 weeks. So that was my goal, to have people coming in, you know, anywhere from 4 weeks to 6 weeks to 8 weeks. The most frequent we had anyone doing, you know, measurements and skin folds was once every 2 weeks, but that was more for the person who was going into some sort of body shaping competition or bodybuilding competition. From here, you can also start to create your online training program. So like I indicated before, all this information is your intellectual property. So the back-end payment for you is going, well, hold on, what if I take a lot of these programs that I've built, a lot of these nutritional suggestions, training advice, exercise techniques, etc., what about I put this into some sort of membership-based website where people can sign in, they can pay me a lower fee, and they're paying me, let's call it, you know, $9.95 a week to access all my best stuff. Then, you know, you get 100 people on there, and it doesn't take you long to work out the numbers on how you can profit from a system like that. Really, the opportunities are endless, and so that would be the thing I would say, is just constantly keep putting your creative hat on and thinking, what are different ways you can service people. It's like in our business at Create PT Wealth here, we have many different ways that we can service people. We've got our coaching and mentoring programs. We have our business building site. We have our products that we sell, our fitness marketing done for you, etc., etc. We've just launched, and you might have heard about it, our Certificate 4 in Small Business Management. So we now have a nationally accredited course on our scope. So people who will be doing that program will be gaining themselves a Certificate 4 in Small Business Management. All right, with that in mind, time for a prize draw. So this prize draw is going to be really simple for you to enter. I want to give away a prize, and by the end of it, we should know who this prize is going to. Very simple what to do. All you got to do is get yourself to the question box and just type into that question box, yes, please. And we'll find a way to get a prize out to somebody. So all it's got to be is yes, please, boom, boom. I see them rolling through already. Nice work. All the action takers. Excellent. Nice work on that. All right. What are you going to win if you by putting that in, the winning person, I'm going to try and get Lynn to get on and to decide who can be the winner for us. What we're going to be giving away is our fitness marketing done for you. So if you struggle with marketing, then what we'd like to do is show you how you can have your fitness marketing done for you. Fitness marketing, so you can quickly and easily get your fitness marketing done for you, which is guaranteed to create, an abundance of leads, increase your cash flow without having to do any of the hands-on work. So, what we do is we do educate people on marketing and the techniques and so forth, but we also have a number of templated different marketing strategies that people can use and put into their business immediately. So we've got our hypnotic branding, our client attraction template letters, our fitness precision advertisements, how to generate cash flow over Christmas. For many personal trainers, it's quite not very often a very merry Christmas, because clients go away, they go on holidays, all that sort of stuff, and then income can drop. So what we do is show you how you can take care of that way before that time. So some lucky person's going to win that, and congratulations for all of you who took action on it. All right, method number 2, how much do you charge? The classic question that gets asked. The phone rings, you get a tap on the shoulder, something like that. Quite often an early question that pops into somebody's probably quite often the first question people ask. Look, when I started my personal training business years ago, I had absolutely no idea what to charge, and I did exactly like this person's doing on the screen now. I picked up the Yellow Pages. You might remember that book people used to use to look up businesses and services. And at that point in time, 20 years ago, there were about 3 personal trainers in Brisbane. I rang them all up, asked them the question, how much do you charge? They pretty much all broke rule number 1, because they all told me, and it was about $30 an hour was the going rate at that point in time. So I thought, beauty, that's what you must get paid as a personal trainer. So I was pretty chuffed at that, so there we go. I launched straight into it. Like I said earlier, spent many years with absolutely no clue. So for me, I was going, well, I'm getting paid, I'm doing what I love, this is all great, I'm happy with this. However, I just had no clue how to value myself. I had no idea in terms of how to set my charge out rates and so forth. So you'll see there that for many years I would suggest that I was a very average, might be the word, personal trainer in my view. And when I say average, I was technically well skilled. I was good at helping people, training them, getting in shape, motivating them, all that sort of stuff. However, I sucked at the business side. I had no clue how to promote myself, how to market myself, how to engage people in a conversation which could possibly lead them into getting started with me. I was in fear of putting up my rates because I thought people might leave, they might think I'm greedy, they might think I'm money hungry, they might stop training with me altogether, and then suddenly the income would seriously drop. So I had all these negative thoughts and fears and concerns running on through my mind. So it took me a number of years, to really see the light, and I was fortunate enough to get myself around my first business coach almost 15 years ago. He sat me down and he said, mate, you really need to change what you're doing, because you're doing 40 hours a week, you're charging $30 an hour, you're pretty much burnt out, you're working from 5 a.m. till 9 p.m. every day. I'd lost motivation, I wanted to quit the industry altogether. And soon realised that I had to put some of these changes into place. And as you see there, the rates changed significantly. Got that up to 440. And had this question asked to me, and had it asked to me when I first put it up, actually, by someone I was speaking to, and they said, "Who the hell would pay you $440 for a personal training session? Who the hell would pay you $440 for a personal training session?" I said to that person, "Look, I'm not sure who." But who it's going to be, but I definitely know there's someone out there. And it really came back to me valuing what I was doing and putting a price on my time, because I realized that if I'm in the gym training clients all the time, what I'm not doing, I'm not back in the office building the business. I'm not doing my lead generation. I'm not doing my marketing. I'm not putting together new sales strategies and methods and techniques and so forth. So what, the start could be, you could start raising your prices. But, that could be considered risky. And I guess the activity that we run across the country in our boot camps is we say to people, look, what goes through your mind, your clients might say, might think, might feel, if you were to decide to increase your charge out rates today. So what goes through your mind that your clients might say, might think, might feel if you were to increase your charge out rates today? And commonly the type of responses we get are things like this. Clients might leave. Clients might think I'm greedy. They might ask, what extra do I get for that? So, okay, I'm paying $60 at the moment. You want me to pay 80, so what else am I going to get for $80? They might start questioning it, just quite simply why. They might think I'm money hungry. You might consider your clients good mates. You might have that real friendship, mateship type of thing going on. It's going, oh, hold on, these clients are good, loyal people. I get along with them really well. How am I going to turn around and ask them to pay more? You might not know exactly what to say or how to say it. You might have no clue or no strategy. So that could definitely keep you hijacked. If you've got no idea how to get this, no idea how you want it to come out of your mouth and be conveyed, then there's a chance that it might stop you or stall you from doing it. Or you might be just embarrassed about bringing the topic up altogether. And that fear of loss could stop you altogether. So this is a very abbreviated summary of what we normally get. And if you're sitting there and you've had some of these thoughts and feelings, then I would say don't be concerned, because you're not alone. You know, we've chatted now to thousands of trainers, not only around Australia but around the world, who have these very similar things. So, you know, and if you were to go out there and just jack your rates up and, you know, with no strategy, then it could be considered risky, a bit like old mate's doing now on the stream. So what we suggest is you do need to have a proven system. And the proven system is really the most important bit that you can put into your business. Your business is valued and made and becomes successful based on the systems that you place in it. And it's really the key to you getting the type of income and the type of cash flow that you so desire and deserve as well. So what I want to show you is 3 secrets that most personal trainers either don't know or they don't do. So first of all, not looking at it from a business perspective and really basing any decisions that you do on an emotional response. So if I go back to that list of reasons why, let me flip back to them for a minute. All these responses. So, you know, I guess my question to everyone is, where are these responses coming from? They're coming from you. And when I say you, I refer to personal trainers collectively on the whole. So if you're all having these thoughts and feelings, you know, they're happening in your mind, which is just, it really is one of those things where you've got to take a look at it and go, hold on, yeah, these are happening in my mind, and, you know, hey, maybe these aren't the thoughts and feelings of my clients. So first of all, what you need to do is you need to look at it from the business perspective. If you want to increase your business profitability, if you want to work less hands-on, if you want to take more time off, drive the type of car you want to drive, train more often, do whatever it is that you so desire, then you're going to need to make some changes in terms of what you do if you're currently not happy with the way it's going. And that's based on a business decision, business perspective. Secondly, you have absolutely no right to decide what someone will pay for your service. So you've got absolutely no right to decide what someone will or won't pay you for your service. So what I say is some people will pay for it, some people won't. My response to that is, so what? It's seriously not going to change my life if that person decides to do it or not. Now, that could be a tough thing to hear if if for you it's important that you have the next person sign up because you're counting on some cash flow to come in. However, you want to get yourself to a point where you remove that side of it. You don't need the next client coming in. And we always say that your next best client is just around the corner. And finally, what you want to do is follow a proven system to guarantee that success. And, you know, unfortunately, what we've just seen way too often is people who don't follow that system. So my advice to you is you really want to follow that proven system. And if that's the case for you, if you're having any of these thoughts or feelings and you haven't done this before, you haven't gone through this process on how you can change your charge-out rates, I guess my question to you is, how much money are you missing out on, or have you missed out on in the past by not doing it? And really, it does boil back to this thing of personal worth. Are you really worth it? So, you know, you've really got to question that, because sitting underneath all of that information there, all those responses, is this thing of personal worth. And if you're feeling like I'm not really, that worthy of it, or maybe I just need to do a little bit more study, or maybe I need to get that next qualification, or whatever it is before I increase the rates, then it could definitely be sitting about that thing of personal worth. But let's do the numbers on it. So let's say you're doing 25 sessions a week and they're 45 or 60-minute sessions. Let's say you increase those rates by even $10 per session, which for over that course and a 45 or a 60-minute session could be considered. I think that's fair, possibly even a bit conservative. That's 25 times $10 gets you $250 a week. That's an extra $1,000 a month, or an extra 12 grand per year. And that's just with one technique, okay? And it's what we call the hidden money. And I guarantee you, for each and every one of you, there's hidden money in your business. And those of you who will be joining us at one of our Create PT Wealth Business Building Boot Camps, what we do is we speak about that. We speak about identifying the hidden money in your business. Also at that Business Building Boot Camp, what we do is we go into the step-by-step process on how you can actually increase that charge-out rate. So you can really unpack those methods. But you can see there the figures are there, the economics are there. It makes sense. And if we go around your business, we can find many different ways where we can increase that ongoing cash flow every single week. All right, let's get into the third method I call the group training system. So, many of you out there no doubt doing some type of group training or some type of semi-private or something like that. So my advice to you was consider, how do you put together some type of group training system or method? So one that we put together was called the Overhaul, and we did it in various formats. We did it in 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. We tried all sorts of things, and we got all sorts of different types of feedback responses, earned all sorts of different types of income based on what we did. But let me run you through one of them. All right, just pulled out the stats and figures on one of them. So 26 participants. This wasn't one of our best. This was one of our biggest ones. I think we had about 60-odd people in there. 26 people on this one. The investment was $899 over the 6 weeks, and I'll run you through what they get for that. So for 6 weeks, you can see the total income, $23,000. We take off the GST because, of course, remember the GST is not your money. That left us with 21, and our expenses were $5,870. Now, again, those expenses, you might look at that and go, hold on, that's a bit high. That was definitely because I was paying trainers to run those sessions. So if you're a solo independent trainer and you're running your own sessions, then your expenses will be way lower than that. But the figure was up there because I was obviously paying people. This was me doing nothing. All right, so let's now have a look at my pre-tax income of $15,000, or you might call it the net profit. And if we work that out over the course, I mean, if you were a trainer by yourself, to service this type of program, it would require about 18 hours a week, so a significant amount of time. But you can see the type of income that would bring in. All right, let's have a look at how we did this and how we valued it. We did the initial assessments. I would actually pay the trainers to do that. We get through everyone in around about 2 hours because we get them in for shorter duration assessment sessions. Have 2 or 3 trainers doing the assessments at once, and people would be going one after the other. Group classes, they would be we'd be running our group classes. My trainers would be getting paid $50 for those classes, and they'd run for that 6 weeks. PT sessions, we'd run half-hour sessions for the course of this program, and then we'd run workshops. So weekly we'd have a nutritional workshop or some type of training technique or strategy or psychology or something to help them. And then, of course, we'd have some booklets and flyers and prizes and so forth. So overall, you can see how you could massively shave some cost off that. So if you're a solo business owner, if you're the only one in your business, and all of that income will be yours with really minimal expenses. So you would have $23,374, minus your GST will get you back to 21 grand. Divide that over the 6 weeks, then that gets you back to around about $3,541 per week. So just to sort of enlighten you on the process and how that went down, and how people were paying $899 for that particular program. quite simply, it was back to that thing. We were selling in the value. We were massively value adding what people got. So it wasn't just the fact that they were able to attend our group fitness classes, but they were also able to get our body assessments. They were also able to get all that information that you would have seen earlier, all the intellectual property, the programs, the body assessment templates, etc. They'd receive all that info. We had created this great intellectual property booklet where they would, have all the information in there. It would guide them through step by step. They would have their experience with their trainer. They'd attend our workshops and our events. And so over that time, they were really, really part of our community and really part of our culture, and they saw the massive value in that. And of course, those people that were getting the success, I mean, if you look at 6 weeks, $150 a week over 6 weeks gets us to $900. It's not a huge investment for somebody. They were receiving, well, they had the opportunity to attend 5 classes per week. So 5 classes per week, 4 of them being group classes, 1 of them being a PT class at $150 a week, plus all the extra value adds and bonuses and so forth that they got. Was definitely a massive draw card for those people as well. All right, so like I said, you're a solo business owner, then a lot of that profit would, of course, come to you. So, you've just sold your very first group program and made your $21,000 profit, or around about $3,500 a week for those 6 weeks. Well, from there, what you want to do is you want to come up with as many methods as you can as possible to sell people in on the back end, and that's what we call making money on the back end. So the example I just showed you is all about making money on the front end. How do we make money on the back end? Well, again, like I said, I'm back to this thing, and if it feels like I'm repeating myself, it's because it's so important and so critical. You do need to have a proven system. So my advice on that would be to have some type of group training system. And here's probably the one we've seen used most successfully. Hundreds of our trainers that have come through our programs have used this system and this model. So let's just say, for example, you're running 5 boot camps per week. And let's have a look at, first of all, column by column. So the number of boot camps. So let's say someone was to attend 1, 2, 3, or unlimited boot camps per week. And let's put a retail cost on your boot camps at $29 per boot camp. So if someone was to come once a week, second row down, then $29 would be the retail cost. You'll put them on direct debit because you want all your clients to be on direct debit. It's going to automate everything for you. It's going to streamline the process. And you give them a little discount for that, so they get an 11% saving. So they're now paying $26 per week, and they're entitled to come to one of your boot camps per week. Secondly, 2 times per week, retail cost $29, so it's $58 for those 2 sessions. However, on direct debit, you'll have them paying $39 per week. Gets that down to $19.50 per session at a 33% discount. Next thing is 3 sessions per week, $29 per session. Times that by 3 gets us to $87 as a value. But however, they're not going to pay that. You're going to charge them $49. So they're now down to $16.30 per session. So you can see the value is really creeping in now. And the massive saving there, 44%. And of course, unlimited. Let's say you're running 5 classes a week and someone opts to go on your unlimited package. It's $145 of value. However, you're not going to charge them that. You're going to charge them $55. So they've got now a massive saving. The new rate per session that they would be paying is $11. And you can see the type of saving that they receive from that, 62% saving. So you're really slicing the price off there. So the model, I love it. I've seen it used successfully. I'd recommend that you have something like this in place. All right, so I guess if you're sitting there and you're going, okay, this all sounds great, but what's the next step and how do I get more of this? I'd like to explain that to you. First of all, I just want to run you through someone who's employed these systems and methods and have a case study on someone who's been through our program. Her name is Hayley Beckett. From over in Perth. Hayley's been on our program for just around about 4.5 years on the Create PT Wealth Mentoring program. Hayley's a big believer in continually having herself educated, updated, and she's therefore created this success in her business ongoing, year after year, profits, year after year returns, etc. So he kicked off working for a gym at that point in time. He was on a salary of around about $30,000 a year. her first year in business, she moved from the gym, went out in business on her own, opened her own premises, made about 60 grand for that year. Interestingly enough, her expenses were about 60 grand, so you might say she made nothing. So she was pretty much just struggling to keep her head above water. Fortunately, the second year in business, we were, of course, working together. She got that up to 120 grand, so she doubled that, which was a pretty cool achievement. Now, you know, when I put this together 3.5 years into the program, so 9 or so months ago, averaged just over 10 grand a week. It's $500,000 per year with an amazing team of 10 staff. So you can really see the potential in terms of what can be achieved. So let's have a look at some of the metrics and some of the stats. The average weekly income is just over 10 grand a week. The average direct debit as a percentage of that income is 86%. So 86% of people that come to that facility are direct debiting. And I'd recommend that you have as many of your clients on direct debit as possible. If you've got an automated system in your business where 80+% of your people are direct debiting, then you've got a really good turnkey model. Haley these days does an average of about an hour per week of PT, so she's obviously recognised also that her time is best spent working on the business, not in it. Average expenses for that business are just over 4 grand a week, so the operating profit, pre-tax, etc., is around about 6 grand per week. So really, she's built a really solid business, and that solid business doesn't depend on her to be there all the time. So, yeah, in my opinion, a real powerful way to do it. And like I said earlier, the key to wealth is to find ways where you can leverage yourself through others, where you can build a business that doesn't require you to be there all the time. And you can creatively think about how can we build a business system behind this. All right, so look, if you're sitting there going, look, this all sounds great, but I'll probably need some more. I'd like to like to find out what you guys do, get along to some more of your stuff. Really, you've got two options you can take. Option number one is you can keep doing the same things day in, day out. Now, I'm not sure about you, but, you know, I certainly want to have a choice as to whether I'm training clients when I'm 90 years old. On the flip side, you can pretty much take the other option, which is, you know, invest in yourself and your business now. You can develop the key ingredients in your business, which means you can work less and earn more. And you can really engineer your future as a successful fitness entrepreneur. And, you know, it really is your choice and your future on whether you do that. And this particular slide's very close to my heart. That's a photo of myself and my wife. We were at the time over in France, cycling the Tour de France, and on a supporters tour, you know, while we were cycling through the Pyrenees and having a great time there. We had our team of trainers back home who kept our business running for us, kept cash flow going into our bank account. So while we were traipsing around Europe having the time of our lives, we knew that we had a really solid business back home, and that business was continually turning over the income that we so desired. So how do you get all that, and you know, where the hell do you start to get this? Well, what we'd like to do is invite you along to one of our business building boot camps, and we want to show you how we can construct a killer sales process. We want to show you how to market yourself as the obvious best choice. We want to show you how to get paid more for what you do. We want to show you how to become a better mentor to PT so you can bring people in underneath your brand and your identity. We want to identify what's holding you back from having it all in life. And we also want to show you the mindset on what it takes to earn a multi-six-figure income as a personal trainer doing absolutely what you love. How do we do that? Well, it's our 2-day business building boot camp. It's our methods on how to earn over 100 grand a year whilst working 20 hours or less per week with your clients. Those tickets are valued at $597. So to get along to that event, that's the investment to get one of those tickets. However, this, of course, we're going to give you a reward for being here today. Those of you who have taken action and turned up to the cash flow webinar, it's normally $597 to attend, but we're not going to ask you to pay that. All right, before we get to that, however, just to unpack the dates for you, we are on the Gold Coast in about 2 weeks' time. Those of you who are on the Goldie, come and visit us down there. We're going to have a great crew down there. Melbourne, we're at the start of May, so we're roughly around about 5 or so weeks away from being in Melbourne, 5 or 6 weeks. Sydney, we're towards the end of May. That looks like a little typo there. I believe it should be the 22nd and 23rd of May. Looks like I've missed out a 2 there. So that will be definitely, I'll just double check that on my calendar. January. Okay, yep, I can confirm that's the 22nd and 23rd of May. Brisbane, the 12th and 13th of June, and those of you who are over in Perth, the 25th and 26th of September. Now, those of you who are in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, we do have other dates available at different times of the year, so if you're interested in any of that, all you need to do is just ask us, and we can definitely guide you in the right direction. All right, let's get back to what we want to give you, the bonuses and so forth for coming along. We want to pass on our Personal Trainer's Guide to Wealth Creation Success Pack. What's included in that is our 10 DVD presentations in terms of us unpacking all our main systems and methods. Our audio presentation, so you can be driving along in your car and filling your head full of great information. We give you MP3s of all the prezos, so you can load them up to your iPod. You can be training, doing what you need to do, and you can be filling your head full of great info. Plus, we will give you our Create PT Wealth sales process, our patented sales methods, how to sell in new personal training, how to handle incoming calls, how to handle the all-important price objection, and how to get that sales appointment locked in. Add all that up for our Guide to Wealth Creation Success Pack. It's $997 worth of value. And plus, we're going to give you 12 CEC points with that. So we've bonused that whole thing up. Add that all up. It's $597 for the tickets, $997 for the pack. It's $1,594. But the content on there has made us millions of dollars of personal training revenue. So I guess the question is, if you were able to make millions of dollars of revenue, would you invest that much? And no doubt that will be a fair exchange. We're not going to ask you to pay $1,594. Look, if you take action today, we're not even going to ask you to invest the price of the home study pack. We're going to enable you to have it all for simply $297. So you get all of that. You get the ticket to the event, you get the bonus 12 CEC points, you get the Wealth Creation Success Pack, all for $297. You get everything for $297. Those 12 CEC points are, of course, registered through Fitness Australia. All right, so for the action takers, for the fast action takers, if you would like more info or you'd like to speak to one of our education consultants, all you need to do is put your best contact number in the question box. So it's right there for you. All you need to do is just type straight in there, put your best contact number, and we will make sure that we contact you immediately. Alternatively, if you're sitting there going, look, this all sounds good, however, I'm not sure if I actually want to attend that workshop. Maybe I just need a coach. I just need to get started with somebody. I realize that that's what I need. Or maybe getting to an event could be tricky for you. Then same thing, just put it in and just put the word coaching with a question mark, and we'll be happy to respond to you and follow you up and make sure that we put you on the right track to get what it is that you're after. Look, our Create PT Wealth Business Belly boot camps, we look forward to having you along to that. We certainly look forward to sharing our tools, our tips and our tactics with you. And, from my perspective, I'd certainly like to say thank you. What I'll also do at this point in time is I'll just invite any questions into that question box. So if you do have a question you feel remains unanswered, I'll do my best to answer it for you. While I do that, I've noticed a question's already popped up. So someone just said having some trouble in a small town charging $35 and even discounted packages. So my response to that would quite simply be, my advice would be I'd want to have a look at the way that that's getting delivered. I want to have a look at the way that price presentation is playing out. Are you giving prices over the phone? Are you doing them verbally with people? Or are you selling people into an end result, an end benefit? They're the types of questions that I'd have around that. So I'd love to see the whole sales process first, see how it plays out, because really what we want to do is get away from this thing, in terms of selling on price. You want to sell on value. And when people see the value in what it is they do, price becomes irrelevant. So we can pretty much remove the price point from it. Someone else, questions? Feel free to put them through. Going. Annalie, I see your question. I'll answer that for you privately, no problem at all. So we can have a quick chat after this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it appears like the questions have been sorted. We will draw a prize winner most definitely, and we will make sure that we get that prize through. I'll have Lynn take care of that today. And so again, just those of you who I've seen a few people have put their number in, I definitely encourage you to do that. I definitely encourage you to take that first step with us so that you can get along to one of our events, get some support, and be able to get you to the next level. Look, from my perspective, I want to say thanks for joining me today. Thanks for giving up your precious time and energy, and look forward to meeting you sometime in the future. If we haven't met yet, we're also going to be at Filex, which I believe is next weekend. Wow. So those of you who are in Melbourne, make sure that you drop into Filex and see us there. Create Pizza Off. We're going to have a stand there. Jason's presenting at Filex. We'll be at the expo. It'll be a huge weekend. We'd love to see you there. Come and say good day, and look forward to seeing you then. Thanks for the note, Bronwyn. Great to hear that you're loving the coaching. That's awesome. And it'll be bye from me, ladies and gentlemen. See you soon. Bye-bye.